Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Military Mondays. For those who do not know who I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and I am the co-author of the best-selling book, Life's Real Currency, with my husband, Michael Sanchez. And I bring you these Military Mondays every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. And I would love to stay connected with you. So if you'd like to know what I'm up to, the awesome people I'm interviewing, like today, Lindsey, please go get connected with me at militarymondays.info. So go subscribe and we can stay connected and I can keep you up to date. I would also like to hear from you. If you are a veteran or the spouse of a veteran that has a business, even the child of a veteran, please reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you about maybe highlighting you on my Military Mondays. But enough of that. I have a rock star on today. Lindsey and I met probably 4 years ago, Lindsey.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. So we met a while back networking, and I've been watching this rock star, and she's just exploding her business. She is the co-owner of MilHousing Network. So for all of you people that are in the military, that's all of you that have to move. Well, this is the lady to get connected with. She can help hook you up with a house wherever you're going and can help you get your house sold wherever you're at so that you don't have to have the stress of that. But she also is the co-founder of PCS Agent. She's got her hands in everything. I saw this morning, which I didn't even know. Her and I are going to have to talk about this. Looks like she's with the John Maxwell team too. So this is a military spouse that is making things happen. She actually, her husband right now is deployed. So she's a single mom and a rock star business owner of multiple businesses. So with that, thank you so much for joining me today, Lindsey. I am so inspired by you and everything you do. And I wanted my audience to learn about you and what you do for all of the military community. And even if you're not in the military, you can still help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Brenda, for having me and that amazing intro. I'm like, man, Brenda's summarizing it better than I can. So yeah, if you're not military, MilHousing Network, basically what we do is we connect military families and non-military families with pre-screened realtors all over the US. For every home sold in our network, we create an employment opportunity for a military spouse. As a military spouse that has personally been faced with unemployment and underemployment issues, our mission is dedicated to providing employment, not only opportunities for military spouses, but education and resources so military spouses can get connected and earn an income while they're moving all over the country. Military spouse unemployment, 1 in 4 military spouses is under or not employed, so 25%, which is really high. It used to be higher than the national average, but given the current climate, I think the current climate is outweighing military spouse unemployment. But real estate is an awesome industry. Military families are always moving, and that's why we're connecting military spouses within the industry to see if they're a good fit.
Awesome. And so you've been a spouse now for how long?
I got married at 23. I'll let you do the math, but I've been married 12 years. And we've moved 4 or 5 times, like I've lost count. We've bought 3 houses along the way, and we're on our 3rd deployment.
Wow. And so because most of my people that I interview are veterans, they're not necessarily the spouse of a currently serving veteran. So for those of my viewers that aren't familiar with the military community and being a military spouse, can you give us just a day in the life of a military spouse, and how having a either real estate or network marketing or some type of a side gig really does help you to stay connected? Because I know you and I have had some of those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, okay, let's see. I'd like to compare being a military spouse to walking into a Nerf gun war. And so just imagine like 5 kids on each side of you, and you're just running as fast as you can, and you're getting hit by darts every which way. And that's kind of what being a military spouse feels like for the most part. um, every single one of those Nerf darts is some sort of change that's happening to your life. So whether it be, oh, we just got PCS orders, and that smacks you in the face, and we're moving next week, and that smacks you in the face, and then oh, the moving truck lost all of your stuff, and that smacks you in the face, and then all of a sudden you get hit in the rear end by another dart because you just lost your job. So I say it in a playing manner because I think it's really hard to describe what being a military spouse feels like. It's a constant state of change and pivot. And I think what has kept me resilient through the years is just my ability to constantly be fluid. And I think taking that experience as a military spouse and being fluid, I haven't always been fluid, and just learning how to adapt quickly has prepared me well for owning multiple businesses. And my business partner, who's also a military spouse, because of our background dealing with constant change and pivots, the current climate in the market allowed us to quickly say, okay, let's put our feelings aside of what's going on. Let's pull out a checklist and let's take every single activity that we have on the books and figure out a different way to make it happen. And a good example of that is we had all these client appreciation events planned for our businesses. And we had rented space, and we had a park planned, and we had catering planned, and then COVID happened. And my business partner and I were sitting there, and I said, okay, all right. Kind of like military spouse land where they lose all your stuff, and you're like, well, what are we going to do? We looked at that and we said, let's try and take that event online, and let's plan a virtual client event. And I told my business partner, Karina, I said, if we can pull this off, we're going to be one of the first real estate teams to pull off a really cool event amongst all of this uncertainty and anxiety, and we can't relate. And what really came out of that, Brenda, was something really beautiful. And what we determined was, I don't know if we'll ever have an in-person event again because the virtual event was so successful. Had we have not pivoted quickly, had we had not taken all of those skills as a military spouse and said like, okay, well, how can we tweak this, plan B, plan C, plan D, and do something really creative with this, we might not have discovered what we're doing now. And I'm excited to talk more about that. But that kind of sums up military spouse land. I mean, I never thought that while my husband was deployed, would we face a national pandemic? In the midst of running through businesses, I now homeschool my kids and don't go to the grocery store. And so you just pivot quickly and you figure out how to do all the things. But yeah, that kind of sums up military spouse land.
Yeah, well, and I love that because there are so many military spouses out there. I was a spouse for a while. For those who do not know my background, I was active duty, and I was married to another active duty person, and I got out, and then I was the spouse for about 6 months. And then I got into the reserves. So I've served on all sides, but not very long on the spouse side. So I really don't know this truly the perspective of a spouse. And I love the way you summed that up, because military spouses have so many skills. And I think so many of them feel like all they can do is stay home because of having to adjust in a new job every 3 to 4 years, and they just don't want to go through that. And they have so many skills that they could tap into to be rock stars just like you in their own business.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing that. Then I want to talk about your event, because that was amazing. I've heard a ton about it all weekend long, because it was Friday night, right?
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about obviously you've said you had to switch to an online. Tell us about what you decided to do online and how it turned out. I think you said 100 families online on a virtual customer appreciation event. Wow. Tell us about it.
It was pretty cool. So like I said, I feel really blessed that when we learned about COVID, Karina, my business partner, and I were actually on a vacation together. And we had planned the vacation months in advance. And we said, we just need to have some fun time together. Little did we know that it turned into essential business planning time. And we really did. We turned into like we looked at each other, we grabbed a glass of wine, and we said, all right, let's remap out our entire business for 2020, because it will no longer be the same. And so what we did is we looked at it and we said, all right, we essentially have 3 businesses. We have a real estate team in San Antonio. We have a referral network that connects military families with pre-screened realtors all over the US. That's MilHousing Network. And then we have a coaching business that teaches realtors how to work with the military market, and that's PCS Agent. So we've taken what we know and love and do in San Antonio, which is help over 150 military families every single year close and buy homes in San Antonio. We then now help hundreds of military families within the network, and now we teach agents how to do that. So I told Karina, I said, all right, we've got over 600 clients between San Antonio and the network. What if we tried to do something online? I said, our clients are accustomed to being online anyway, because they're military families and they're here, there, and everywhere. An online event would not only allow us to connect with our San Antonio clients, but it would allow us to connect with all of our clients who, we have clients internationally. And so that's when I mentioned to Karina, I said, I just got into banner season. I said, and banner season has these really cool boxes. I said, what if we could create branded boxes around a movie night and send out movie snacks? I said, and then bring movie night into people's homes. And that was the general idea. And so she said, okay, cool. So we then went online and we're like, what movies would appeal to our clients? It just so happened that Trolls 2 is coming out. And if you have small kids, like most of our clients, they lose their minds over Trolls. I can't tell you how many times I've watched the first Trolls because we have it on, iTunes. I know all the quotes, Lady Glitter Sparkles, I know all the songs. Anytime the Troll song comes on, my kids' heads explode, And so I said, if my kids like it that much, I'm sure our clients' kids will like it as well. So that's what we did. We said, let's do a movie night around Trolls. Let's do it the same night Trolls comes out. That created a bunch of tidal waves, which I'll talk about later. And let's gear our whole movie night around Trolls. So went into banner season, created some really cool gift boxes. So I used the Troll branding. I got our branding on it. I connected with a couple sponsors, and we got our sponsors' logos on it. And then we just curated these really cool boxes. And in the box, it comes with a card, and it says it's almost showtime. We got a personalized message in it that talks about how we're thankful for them for working with us. This client event is about them. Just really cool stuff that we were able to do there. And then we created custom treats for the clients as well. So we have some caramel pork popcorn and some brownies. I had some unpopped popcorn that also went in the gift box. And then we had some chocolate pretzels. So just a bunch of movie snacks. And I told Karina, I said, we'll see. I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to show up, we'll see what happens. So I sent the invite out to 550, it was almost 600 clients through an email. And they also got a postcard in the mail, which we sent out through banner season. And within 48 hours, we had over 100 people register to get boxes.
Wow.
So literally 1/5 of our client list was like, yes, I want in. So we sent out over 100 of these boxes. Those all went out right before the movie night. And then on the movie night, we announced the movie, hey, we're going to do this. We thought it was going to be on Netflix and we thought it was going to be free, but then we learned it was not free. And so then we immediately sent out $20 Amazon gift cards so everybody could so we could purchase their rental. And they got into trolls, and it honestly exploded the internet. We had our clients hashtagging, so we created a hashtag for the event. So we had them hashtag MHN movie night. They got an entry to win a gift card if they did a costume contest. So we had our clients not only dressing up, but they were participating in it in such a big way. And I can't tell you how many folks just reached out to us and said, because of this movie night, you created joy in our family. You created an event that allowed my family to look forward to something. My kids were excited. There was kids with so much tulle on their head with little troll hats and, their troll snacks. There was pillow forts created. And for a brief moment across America within, our client group, we all kind of forgot about what we're going through. And for that, it was magical. It was completely magical. From the business side, we saw 6 referrals just from the event itself. So 6 people saying, hey, thanks so much for doing this. We'd love to buy and sell with you guys. And so it was just such a win. We created lead opportunities for our sponsors. We had Armed Forces Insurance was one of our sponsors, and we had one gal during the event say, hey, I need a homeowner's quote. So it was just such a win on all fronts. Such a big win that I told Karina, I was like, versus our in-person events, I think we got way more business through a virtual event than we did our in-person event. So we think we're going to make this a thing. We think every quarter it'll be an MHN movie night, and we'll release another cool movie every quarter. So it's been fantastic.
So people need to get attached to MHN Military Housing Network, and you need to buy or sell a home with MilHousing Network so that you can get into the virtual events with Lindsey. She called me after the event and she was all excited, and I was getting all excited. I was getting chills. But it just goes to show you that military spouses have a different skill set than your typical civilian spouse. Civilian spouses do not get hit at all directions, as Lindsey said, with the Nerf gun. Ping, ping, ping. And they don't have the resilience. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some civilian spouses out there that are very resilient. You're working with cotton, I'm the spouse of a cop, a criminal investigator. That's what my husband does. So those that are firefighters and cops, and there are a lot of other service industries. And if you're the spouse of an executive, don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying what you do or your skills. I just think there's a unique skill set that, like you said, Lindsey, when you first started out as a military spouse, you were overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So what piece of advice could you give military spouses, especially maybe somebody who just got married and they're overwhelmed? They've got the deer in the headlights. They got married, and 6 months later, their spouse got orders to deploy. And now what? What's some advice you could give them?
Well, first and foremost, if you're a military spouse and you're confused and you don't know where to go, you can always connect with me. MilHousing Network has partnerships with several nonprofits that we work with. One is American Corporate Partners, and American Corporate Partners, if you're feeling lost on where to go with your career, they have mentors set up from Fortune 500 companies that will mentor you for free. Wow. They'll help you write your resume. They'll help you tailor your skill set, because military spouses don't know how to take their volunteer hours or their some of the gaps in their resume and tailor it for, because those gaps shouldn't be viewed as deficits. They should be viewed as opportunities. And there's a story that can be told from that if framed properly. So they will work with you for free. So that's a phenomenal resource. We also work with MSAN, which is another military spouse nonprofit, that if you're a brand new military spouse, like you said, Brenda, and you don't know where to go, and you're feeling lost, you're feeling confused, they are a nonprofit that's set up to assign a mentor to you to help guide you through all your benefits. Military spouses have so many benefits to them. It's very overwhelming, to be honest. And I'm a seasoned spouse, as they call me. I like to say I'm aged like fine wine. But it's true. I'm 36 and I'm an older military spouse. And so a lot of military spouses are in their 20s, if not early 20s. And it's very confusing when you go onto a big website to digest all the information and where do I go for this, that, or other. So MSAN is set up to help guide younger spouses through the process. Now, I'm blanketing that. There can be, new military spouses who are older that are just marrying into the military. That's overwhelming too. So there's programs designed to help guide you through it because it is very confusing. There's free online counseling through Military One Source. So if you're mentally suffering right now, which who isn't? I mean,
Yeah.
It's very isolating what we're going through. Military spouses in general are isolated because they're being pulled in and out of communities. And so it's hard to form communities. And then you add on COVID onto that. There are resources, there are people that are set up that can help you. And if you feel lost and you don't know who to reach out to, send me a private message. I will get you connected with the right resources. Because no military spouse should ever feel alone or overwhelmed or I don't know where to go. There's a lot of programs that are there that are designed to help support the military spouses. And I just wish more spouses would reach out. So you can send me an anonymous message, even if you're embarrassed. I will help you. Just my nature. I don't want to hear about any military spouse that doesn't feel like they can get connected.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Lindsey's got lots of connections all over the US, not just here, partly because of how many times she's moved and just the network of people that she's built. I've met some of those over the last few weeks and chatted with them, and it's pretty amazing how many lives that she has touched. I will have her go in the comments below, if you would, Lindsey, and put like some of those organizations you were talking about so that people can reach out to those organizations if they're struggling or if they need help. And of course, they can reach out to you or they can reach out to me and we can get them plugged in either into networking groups or just plugged into the right resources or into a network of people that are going to love on them and be like a community that can go with them no matter where they are, so that when they build that community, it moves with them and they never lose that community. I love that you took it online because I was thinking about that. I was like, well, all these companies that do customer appreciation events, it's only really 60 miles maybe that people will come from in a surrounding area for a customer appreciation, but by you taking it online, you touch the world. And that's really cool. I get chills every time I think about it.
I mean, it's so cool. And I think what's really exciting about this time is that, there's a lot to be worried about, but there's a lot to be excited about too. And I urge all business owners to sit down and look at your marketing plan and figure out, how can I be creative with this? How could I take this online? And when you start looking at creative ways to take your business online, now is the time to gain market share, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the real estate market. There's a lot of realtors that are worried. I didn't spend a lot of time in that worry or that emotional space. I spent a lot of time in how can we take advantage of what we've got right now so that when the gates do open, and the gates will open, Brenda, When the gates do open, I have a wider net that I've cast in this downtime so that market share has grown. And if you're in the real estate market and you'd like to learn more about how we put together the event, I'd be happy to connect with you. If you're in the real estate market, this event, this structure will work for any business. So it's, like I said, get connected with Brenda, get connected with me. We're happy to help you take your events online. But in my opinion, everybody has a huge opportunity to gain market share right now. The question is, are you willing to take the steps to make it happen?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsey, for joining me on Military Mondays. You are a wealth of information and knowledge, and you truly inspire me every day. I watch on Facebook, and you're in some of my networking groups, and I watch what you're doing, and it amazes me. So thank you for everything that you do for the military community, especially military spouses. And for those who are watching, again, my name is Brenda Sanchez. This is Military Mondays. I bring you Military Mondays every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. I would love to stay connected with you. I want to build relationship with my viewers. So I would love for you to go to militarymondays.info. That way I can stay connected with you, let you know about past shows or upcoming shows that are coming up. And I would also like to know if you have any kind of a business, reach out to me because I'd love to feature you on one of these Military Mondays. With that, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next Monday on Military Mondays. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Brenda.